Greetings, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Welcome back to my Valheim series. Today we're in with a bit of a special one. As you can see there, we've got a marker on the map called the Emerald Flame. Now, it's not very far from our fort, well, one of our forts. So we are going to go and have a little looky at what is down there, and yeah, let's see how that all develops. So, strap yourself in. Minor spoiler, but put your special occasion helmet on. And let's see where we end up going with this episode. Now, apparently the Valheim gods were not on my side with the weather on this particular day. It was one of those ash kind of smoke storm kind of days. I've done everything I can in terms of adjustments to try and make it as clear as possible, but it still looked like, you know, rehydrated, reheated, you know, insert something really gross here. So given nothing particularly fantastic happened for most of the journey while the weather was bad, you're going to see quite a few jump cuts. So yeah, just trying to, you know, spare your eyeballs a bit, really. Now, through the magic of editing, we have arrived already, but honestly, I think it only took me about 5 minutes in reality anyway. Faced about half a dozen charred of various sorts, nothing particularly inspiring, and I think I had to destroy one summoning pillar, so yeah, it was pretty smooth sailing other than the weather being horrific. But we're here at this arena. Now, this is quite obviously a boss summoning type altar, and it requires 3 bells. Now, I've already made the bells. I made them a while back. They're just sitting in a chest back at my base. One of the, I guess, the main reasons or side reasons, depending on your preferences, for raiding the forts is to get the bell fragments, and it takes, I think it's 3 bell fragments to make 1 bell, and to summon this particular boss, who goes by the name of Fader, it actually takes 3 bells, and you mount 1 in each of the towers. So we've done our little preliminary exploration of the area, and I've got to say the location is not fantastic. It does have quite a lot of lava around 2 sides of it. So, yeah, not kind of looking forward to the fight. Now, I've heard of a few different ways of maybe not necessarily cheesing this fight. It's actually going to be a pretty hard fight to cheese because there's a no build area centered on that summoning pillar, which is one of the reasons why I'm putting the portal and a shield this far away. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're not able to dig there as well, although I didn't actually test it. Now, this particular cheesing, which is, I don't think it truly, you know, meets the definition, because the method used relied on, you know, stuff that I created myself. So I'm not going to call that a cheese, I'm just going to call that being very well prepared. Now, we're fast forwarding on probably 3 or 4 days later. It's a long weekend in Australia, and I've just used a bit of that time to do a bit of a clean-up. Now, we've moved our stone portals because I was struggling to find places to put them. And we made ourselves a portal hub. And as you can see, we're not going to be hurting for stone portals for a while. There's quite a lot of unconnected ones there ready to go. We put a few comfort items around just in case I'm up here for an extended period. I can get a decent rested buff. And... oh, we seem to be on top of the world. Yeah, quite literally. You remember many episodes ago, I sailed past a very tall mountain, and just ignore where that marker is. I marked it from a very long distance. Yeah, well, this is where I built this base. It is on top of the very tall mountain, and as you can see the curvature of the, Valheim world. So we are very far up. There is certainly nowhere on the horizon that is taller, so I thought, why not? So at, I'm gonna say, extreme amounts of time and material grinding later, we have our little fortress of solitude sitting on top of the tallest mountain in the visible area. Now, we've returned, we have our bells, we are as prepared as we can be, and my little faux cheesing method I'm going to use, I essentially turned off the fires with my Askven breeding area, and I just got them to spit out eggs and eggs and eggs and eggs and eggs. And I can't remember exactly how many I settled on. I think it was about 40. And I made a little enclosure there, just outside the no build area, where with the fire, where they were able to mature. Now, it takes, I don't know, 3 to 5 Valheim days for them to go from being eggs to being Askven. Don't mind me using my staff to destroy that wall. I forgot to bring my build hammer, and it wouldn't have mattered anyway because my stone making bench, I only had it down here long enough to make that enclosure, and then I took it back up to where the portal is, so it's alright. By the end of this fight, there's not going to be any of that standing anyway. So, yeah, long story short, we are here to kill Fader. So we've got our bells in place, we are ringing the bells, and almost the sound of crickets elapsed before... yeah, I was worried I'd bugged it or something. Until, lo and behold, the sky turns green and stuff starts happening. Now, I wouldn't want to be half asleep when I did this fight. And rest assured, I definitely was not half asleep when I did this fight. There is a lot to this fight in terms of not standing in the fire. That's part of the reason why I decided to enlist a bunch of Askven, which, as you can see, they are doing some okay damage, but they are rather squishy because they're just vanilla Askven. If you really want to do this yourself, I'd suggest taming up some 1-stars at the least. I don't think I've seen a 2-star Askven yet, to be honest, in this game, but tame up a bunch of 1-star Askvens and give this a try. You'll probably have a lot more success. Most of my Askven were... ooh, never mind the lag. Most of my Askven were toast within the first couple of moments of the fight, simply because they just don't have a lot of health. And all of the ground area of effect damage just absolutely decimated them. So, look, it softened Fader up a little bit, and it meant that I didn't have to draw upon my other resources until, you know, maybe a quarter of the way through the fight. And that's getting pretty close now. My strategy for the rest of this fight is the troll staff, essentially. The troll staff, I did upgrade it, so I can have 2 trolls active now instead of just 1. And, yeah, essentially they're big enough and tough enough with my approximately 80 blood magic skill that they can hang in the fight for a little while. And they can, you know, contribute to bring Fader down. But this is definitely not a 5-second fight. It is very much an endurance run. It's a very much don't stand in the fire. If it's green and it's on the ground, you don't want to be in it. That's pretty much how this fight works. And when he does these rings, he does leave a little gap that you can run out. Just hope and pray that that is in a direction that's kind of works for you and not gonna deposit you in a lava field or something like that. I was a bit janky with my troll positioning on a couple of these summons, but I got better as the fight got on. So I'm going to stop rambling now, and I'm going to let you take in the majesty that is the Fader boss fight. Oh yeah, and of course, like every other time you don't want one, a Morgan has entered the chat. And it kind of goes without saying with this particular boss fight, make sure you're really thorough with going around the immediate vicinity and making sure that there is absolutely no summoning pillars anywhere within the same postcode as this summoning area. Because, as you can see, Vader summons his own skeletons. You definitely do not want some external ones coming in as well. This is a hard enough fight without making it any harder where you can avoid it. Yeah, there is more than a couple of times in this fight where I get down to some pretty scary low health. And as you can see, I can't suck another potion for another, 15 or so seconds. So you've just got to run around, seek cover where you can, and just bide your time until you can suck another potion. I think the system I sort of fell into towards the latter part of the fight, I just resigned myself to monitoring how many trolls there were on Fader. If it ever got down to less than 2 trolls, I just try and run in, you know, summon a troll, run out again. And just leave the trolls to do most of the damage. Where they're sort of hanging in the fight pretty well, I'll throw in a few, you know, fireballs or use my crossbow. But when Vader does the really big area of effect damage spell, it tends to decimate the trolls pretty easily, so yeah, that's where you see I have to run back in and resummon both of them. And even reviewing this footage, I honestly don't know how you would do this fight in heavy armor. Even with the cloak I'm wearing to help me with additional mobility, got to bear in mind heavy armor slows you down a fair bit. And if you're in heavy armor, it means you're probably not using magic. So you're going to want some stamina for combat and, you know, defense and offense and all the rest of it. I'm not sure how I would approach this fight as a melee, so look, more power to you if you're able to do this one as a melee, but for me, I don't know. Look, if I get curious, I might come back and give it a go. I mean, I've got more bells that I can use to summon him again, but I'm not, yeah, I'm not kind of in a hurry to repeat this fight anytime soon. Boom! Fader is dead. Yeah. As you can see, that's a really busy fight. Kind of expected though, given how busy Ashlands tends to make you just, to get up in the morning and make toast for yourself involves killing 3 summoning pillars and about 17 different types of chard. That said though, this is literally the only time I have ever done Fader. I've never done it multiplayer. Itchy's save game is not this far along. This was purely a solo effort with minimal research, and we managed to get it done. So, if me, with my unbelievably rudimentary skills, can knock this one out, if you're feeling a bit nervous about it, hopefully this can help you in your preparations. But yeah, I have confidence. So, we've just jumped over. We're here for our ceremonial hanging of the boss trophy. As you can see, we've hung all the other bosses here. We're now hanging Fader. Now, Fader is an interesting buff. I guess it's if you want to move a whole bunch of stuff over ground, as quickly as possible. Yeah, plus 300 carry weight and plus 10% movement speed. I mean, you add that to what you get out of this cloak, I mean, that would be pretty special. I mean, you wouldn't exactly be the Flash, but that's not bad. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this episode. As far as the storyline progression of this series, this is effectively the end of the series in that regard. I will still, make some episodes from time to time just doing mildly oddball stuff, or if any of you out there have any suggestions or things that you would like me to see do in this Valheim save, make sure you leave a comment down below. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and to consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Until next time, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Thank you very much for watching, and have yourself an absolutely fantastic day.